Hello and welcome to my first knitting and crochet podcast. My name is Stella and I'm coming to you from the West Midlands in the UK, where I live with my husband and 3 boys. You can find me here on YouTube and also on Instagram, and I'll be sure to link all of those places below at the end of this video. So this podcast, as I say, is going to be all about my knitting and crochet adventures, things that I have finished, things I'm working on, things that I'd like to start in the future, and maybe some little cheeky purchases along the way. So the first thing we'll dive right into are finished objects. I have 2 to share with you today. The first one is a Tunisian crochet project, and the second is a pair of socks which have been worn and are extremely cozy. And I have also used my shawl as well, which is the first project. So the first one is a Tunisian crochet shawl. It's by TL Yarn Crafts and it's called the Lamia Shawl. Now this was my very first Tunisian crochet project. I've only ever attempted little sample squares before, and as soon as I saw this pop up on YouTube, I just knew right away I had to start it. No questions asked, needed to do it. So here we go. Here is the finished object. If you can see that there, it's very, very long. If you can see, it's longer than my wingspan, and it's absolutely beautiful. It's a nice big triangular shawl. You've got the Tunisian simple stitch just here, if you can see that there, and then the border, if I can find that for you, was the honeycomb stitch, which is just here, I believe. There you go. I used some King Cole Big Value Aran wool. It was in my stash. I didn't buy it specifically for this project. The colourway is called Nugget and it's number 3288. I used a 6.5 Tunisian crochet hook, which I have here to show you. So if you've never heard of Tunisian crochet before and you're not sure what the difference is, you have your hook there and it's on a really long cord with a stopper on the end. Now when I worked on this project, I think the total stitches filled up the whole length of this, and it was a lot easier than I thought it would be. By the end of the project I could do it quite comfortably watching the TV. So this wool required 300 grams or 3 skeins, but I only actually used 245, I think it was. I still have this much left. It's a good half a ball there. It is 100% premium acrylic. You get 275 yards or 235 meters per ball, and it's super squishy and soft. Definitely recommend this yarn. I haven't washed it yet, but I did block it and it has been worn a couple of times when it was a bit cooler. So I'll just show you how I wear them. So you can just wrap it around like this. I usually just tie it a little bit just under there, and you can arrange it how you want, and that's super cozy, especially if you go out for an early morning walk or if you do school runs like I do. I also work at my local school on the playground at lunch times, so it can get very chilly and blustery in the winter time, so this will be perfect. You can also wear it just over your shoulders if summer evenings or spring evenings are a bit cooler. You can just drape it over. Whoopsie daisies, sorry. There we go. You can just drape it over. Super and soft, very cozy. Definitely think I will make another one in the near future. Maybe like a warm autumny colour, of which I do have some purple tweed Aran. That's just screaming out to be another one of these shawls. So that's my first finished object anyway. Definitely worth checking out. I will put a link to TL Yarn Crafts in the description box below. It's called the Lamia Shawl. There is a YouTube tutorial. There is also you can go on Tony's website, and she is amazing. She goes through step by step, completely broken down. I've never done a knitting crochet project before, nothing this size. I had no issues whatsoever. Definitely worth checking it out. Okay, so the next finished object, both of these have been finished within the last month. They're not overly recent. They are a pair of socks that I made. Okay, so you will have to excuse them a little. They have been stretched out just a bit because I wore them yesterday. So these are my vanilla socks. I use the Go Your Own Way vanilla sock pattern found on Ravelry by Stacey Winklepleck. There is also a YouTube video tutorial. I believe it is by Very Pink Knits. So pop on over, check this out if you're not familiar with sock knitting, or you want to have a go and you're not really sure where to start. These are a perfect pattern. Gives you the option to go cuff down or toe up, whichever you prefer. Me personally, I'm a cuff down kind of girl. Heel flap and gusset as well. I have found that short row heels, fish lips kiss heels, don't really fit my foot very well. The sock tends to spin around a bit on my foot. Heel flap and gusset, perfect all day long, no problems. So the yarn I used for these was some Opal Viridian yarn, and the colourway is Claire, and it's number 7954. For the grey heels, cuffs and toes, I used some Drops Fable sock yarn in the grey colourway. The number is 200, and both are sock yarns. I use a 9-inch circular, which are just the tiny ones, 2.5mm, 64 stitches. I did 2x2 cuff, knit 2, purl 2, 20 rounds. Then I knit a total length of 6 inches before I got to the heel flap and gusset decreases, and then I knit till the foot was, I think it was 7 inches, because my total foot length is 9.5. So then you have 2.5 inches left for your toe. This, I believe, is a square toe. There are other different types. You can also do a rounded toe, which on one of my works in progress, I am going to try a rounded toe, see if you get a slightly different fit or a better fit. It's completely your choice. So those are my Opal Viridian socks. This yarn was absolutely super to knit with, not scratchy whatsoever, and as you wash them and wear them, they are softening up more and more every time. These fit me perfectly. So in my Ravelry project pages, which I have for all of my projects, you can find the full details on how I knit my sock from start to finish. I will link everything in the description below if you feel that you want to pop over and have a look. By all means, please do. So that is another finished object. Those are just the two finished objects I have at the moment. So now we will now we will move on to our whips, which are works in progress if you're not familiar with that term. So my first, well actually my first 3 whips that I'm going to show you are, surprise surprise, socks. The first ones are my Rose City Rollers ankle socks. Okay, so this is a pattern over on Ravelry. I'm not exactly sure who the designer is. I can't remember off the top of my head. I will link it below. But they are called the Rose City Roller Socks. Pardon me. And I am using some Regia 4-ply sock yarn as the main colour, and for the contrast I am using Drops Fable again. It's one of my favourites for contrast heel, toes and cuffs. So here is the first sock that I have. Again, 64 stitches using a 9-inch circular. This one is a Knit Pro Symphony circular. If you can see there, it's the multicoloured wooden needle, very smooth and very nice and easy to knit with. 64 stitches, heel flap and gussets, turquoise colourway for the heel. Now for the toe, I'm mixing it up a little bit. I'm doing something a little bit crazy with these socks. My second one, because I'm doing not 2 at a time but tandem knitting, just to see if the process will be any quicker than doing 1 individual sock at a time. So far so good. I'm at the toe on both of these. So here's the second one. As you can see, we have a pink heel here and a turquoise here. So for the toes, I'm going to opposite the colours. So on this one we'll have a pink toe and this one will have a turquoise toe. A little bit more crazy, mixing it up a bit for summer. So those are my Rose City Rollers. The reason that I am using the light bulb stitch markers here, this was a very handy tip that I picked up and learnt from another YouTuber called the Crazy Sock Lady. Her name's Kay, and she just does the best sock knitting, the best tutorials, the best inspiration, and she does every 10 rows she puts a light bulb stitch marker to save the process of measuring, trying to make sure each sock is identical, trying to remember, oh, okay, was it 7 inches, was it 6.5? Just remember every 10 rows put a light bulb stitch marker in. I've just put this coloured safety in here so I know that that's the end of the gusset decreases. So I've had to just do 40 knit rounds ready to start the toe on both of them. So that's my Rose City Roller socks. These will be finished in the next couple of days. This is the yarn that I'm using as well. See the lovely colours there. Very soft, not a scratchy sock yarn like some of them are. So there we go, that's one whip. Okay, so the next whip is a whip that I'm doing, a pair of socks for my Nan. She's a very sock worthy, sock knitting worthy, she loves them basically. She came to visit me last summer and I had a pair of socks that I'd made and they were on the side, and she was mesmerised by, oh, can I have a look at those, Stella? It was my Nan that actually taught me to knit way back when I was about 7 or 8. So I was showing her these socks and straight away she asked, could you make me some for the winter? She does get very cold feet. So of course, no problem. So I raided my stash, found out some sock yarn. I will insert a little picture as well of those first socks that I made for her. I did do them on my knitting loom because she does have an issue where her feet and ankles swell up. Some kind of issue that she has with her circulation. So she needs some socks with lots and lots of stretch. So quite often she will, with cotton socks, she'll cut the top off so it's not tight and it doesn't dig into her foot. And I have found that with my sock loom, you do get a lot more stretch and they're a lot more forgiving on your feet. Okay, so this is that sock whip. Now these are in a West Yorkshire Spinners signature 4-ply yarn. The colourway is Delphinium, hence the name, my Nans Delphinium socks. I'm doing contrast heels, toes and cuffs. I only started them 2 days ago, so there's not a massive amount to see. But there is the cuff so far. It's this beautiful purple colour. I'll show you the yarn that was getting a little bit blown out there. Again, this is Drops Fable. I love this for heels, toes and cuffs. Very super soft. And this is just in their purple colourway. And I have done, see if you can see there, just a couple of rounds in the sort of self-patterning lilac yarn. So there is the yarn that I'm using. It's a West Yorkshire Spinners. Delphinium is the colourway. Now unfortunately this has recently been discontinued, but you may still be able to find a few sellers on Etsy or eBay that have got a few balls left in stock. I didn't realise this until this morning that it was discontinued, but it's very soft. They still have some other colourways in this same range. I do have the pink rose and I've also got the light green one as well, which is in my stash. Very soft. It's one of my go-to yarns for my sock knitting. I've got many colourways of theirs. So this is the let's have a look here. It's the KB Looms 56 peg sock loom. It's from their His and Hers set. This is the Hers one. The His one has got 64 pegs, I believe, and it's in dark purple colour as well, but I've never actually used that one. 2x2 rib, knit 2, purl 2, and then just going round and round every row in E-wrap, just so she's got more stretch around her foot, so it's a bit more comfortable for her. So only started a few days ago, but progress is good already. Now I'm just on the standard E-wraps. This will be good TV knitting. Don't really have to look too much at what I'm doing for that. So hopefully shouldn't take me too long to get to the heel, and we can get those finished off and sent out to her. Because she doesn't live here, she lives in the Forest of Dean in Gloucester. So I will post them down to her once they're finished. Okay, let's grab a little bit of water. So my next and last sock whip are a pair of socks for my husband. He's also a very knit worthy person. I made him his very first pair of socks for Christmas last year. They were some self-striping primary coloured socks. I did bright red heels, toes and cuffs. I'll see if I can find a picture and I'll insert it here as well. And I was a bit nervous when he opened them on Christmas Day. I thought, is he going to like them? Is he not? Because I know not everybody likes hand knit items, especially socks. So I made them for him and I sat there and waited and watched. And when he opened them, the smile on his face, and he was just beaming so much that he was happy, so happy that he got these handmade socks. So just, I don't know, it just made me feel really warm and fuzzy inside, and I just thought, that's a definite knit-worthy person there. So of course, we went out, we got some more yarn in colours that he would like, and now he's one of my works in progress that's, oh, I've always got some on the needles for him. So, these socks are his Pacer socks. If any of you remember from the 80s, I think, I don't remember them myself, but they were like a stripy minty chewy sweet, a bit like Mint Mojos, and he loved these as a kid. So he says to me, oh, could you do me some green and white stripy socks, just like the Pacer sweets I used to have when I was younger? So there I went, off on the computer, shopping cart open, oops-a-daisies, 2 balls of wool fell into my basket. And this is what we have so far. So here is his first pacer sock. How cool is that? Green and white stripes, green heels and toes and cuffs. Now this is a little bit baggy on my foot blocker because this is obviously for a size 6 foot, which is mine. He does wear a size 9, so it's not too baggy. So that's his first one. Now he has 56 stitches because he's got very narrow and slim feet and ankles. 2x2 rib. Then I did 2 rounds of each colour. Again, this was a tutorial and inspiration from the Crazy Sock Lady on the best way how you can alternate your yarns if you're using 2 colours to make stripes. Again, another really easy and lovely, beautiful tutorial if you ever need to pop on over and check it out. So I did 2 stripes for each colour. You can see a slight line there where the yarn, I carried the yarns on up the side, but that will block out once I've washed them. Heel flap and gusset as usual, and then we did, I think it was, let me have a look, 72 rounds for the foot before we did the toe shaping. And there are my light bulb markers again, so I've kept them in because I've got the second one on the needles, which is just here. So there's the second one. We are ready to start the heel on this one. So that's the second. There we go. So those are all my whips that I have at the moment. So, well, sock whips I should say. I am going to share with you one crochet whip that I've got. Now this is a long-term crochet project. It has been on my hook since about 2017, 2018. It is a crochet blanket. I'm learning a different stitch and a different technique with every round that I do, so I do need to concentrate more. It's not the kind of crochet that you can do if you have visitors around or if you've got your kids around you. I do go through phases of I'll work on it like crazy for a little bit and then I'll put it away and do something a little bit more easy. When I was having a sort out of my whips last week, I did come across it and I just had this massive urge to start doing some crochet. So rather than trying to find something new and then picking all the colours, which is a process that I do enjoy doing, I didn't have the sort of brain space at that time last week. I just wanted to do something that I'd already got sorted for me. So I found my Sophie's Universe blanket. Now this blanket has been on my wish list for so long, and when I was lucky enough a few years ago to work at Hobbycraft, I basically had my own yarn store right at my fingertips. So that's what I did. I bought all the wool, gave me my absolute push and inspiration to get the wool for it. So here we go. Okay, so here we are. This will eventually go on mine and my husband's bed as like a bedspread to go over the top, which I'm hoping it will be finished for this coming winter if I can keep this motivation going with this blanket. So there we go. That's my Sophie's Universe so far. It's getting pretty big now. Really colourful, absolutely love all of these colours. And like I say, I'm learning a new stitch or a new technique with every round. These popcorn stitches here, really fun to do. Never done popcorn stitch on anything before. Let's give you a bit of a close up there of all the colours as well. So this is done using the Women's Institute Premium Acrylic in DK weight. I will list all the colours below. There are too many for them for me to remember off the top of my head. I'm using a 4mm crochet hook. It's a Clover soft grip crochet hook, which I will show you. I've got quite a few number of different crochet hooks, but these are the ones that don't hurt my hands or my fingers as much as some of the other sort of more universal, bit more basic ones. So this is my Clover soft touch hook, 4mm, or if you're in the US it's a size G. It's got a nice rubber grip there for when you're holding, and I can crochet for a long time quite comfortably with this hook. It's the shaft here is very smooth, the yarn doesn't get stuck, it doesn't snag, it just slides through each loop. Lovely. Definitely recommend them. They was actually not as expensive as I imagined them to be. I do have the complete set of the Clover soft touch hooks. Definitely worth an investment if you can get your hands on some. So that's my long-term crochet project. I have been working on it quite a lot this last week or so, but I have put it away just for a couple of days while I work on my socks, but I will be back to it, don't you worry about that. Okay, so those are my finished objects and my whips. So next I just want to quickly go through with you just two upcoming projects that I have got planned to start as soon as I get at least one thing off of my needles. It's another pair of shorty socks for myself, but rather than doing it with the roll top, I'm going to do a small, probably a 10 round 2x2 cuff, and then 10 rounds of plain stockinette stitch before I do the heel flap and gusset. Now the yarn I'm going to use is some yarn that was left over from a pair of socks that I made my mother-in-law. I made her the Impossible Girl socks, which can be found on Ravelry, for her birthday this year in January, I think it was. I'll put a little picture there so you can see, have a look at those. But I've got 45-50 grams left, which I thought would be ideal for some shorties, and I can also do a contrast heel and toe and cuff if I don't quite have enough of the main colour. So the main colour is this here, this beautiful pinky purpley kind of mix. It's called Fuchsia Mix, and it's a Rico Design Superba vintage sock yarn. It came as a 100-gram ball, and the colourway is Fuchsia Mix, which is number 4, and I've got 47 grams left, which will be perfect for some shorty socks for myself. 64 stitches, standard heel flap and gussets, but I'm going to do them with a ribbed cuff rather than a roll top. So that's my plan for those, for that yarn. My big goal this year is to try and use up as much of my stash as I possibly can, because, well, I have these here which go floor to ceiling. I have 2 of those, and then I have this here which is all sock yarn. I've got bags behind the chair, I've got a box over in the corner, so we do need to get using on some of this yarn. So that's from stash, that was from another pair of socks that I made. So then the second item is the Loveland Shawl by Tony at TL Yarn Crafts. It is another Tunisian crochet shawl. It's done in DK weight yarn, 6.5mm crochet hook, and the yarn that I'm going to use is this absolutely gorgeous sparkle rainbow yarn. Now I do know that it's Lion Mandala yarn, Lion Brand's Mandala yarn. I'm not 100% sure of the colourway, because when I bought them they were being sold as seconds, because the original labels were printed up as the incorrect colour for the actual yarn. But you can still get the Mandala sparkle yarn, but I'm just not 100% sure of this exact colourway, but I'll show you anyway, because I do know that there are lots of other brands on the market that do something very, very similar. So there is the colourway that I'm going to use. Getting a little bit blown out there, can you see? beautiful sparkle, beautiful rainbow colours. I think in the middle it's a dark purple, then it goes to a turquoise, and then this one here, you can see that it's like a greeny colour, then that fades into yellow, orange, pink and purple. So this is what I'm going to use for the Loveland shawl. I will put a little picture there so you can see what the shawl is like. Now my plan with this is I would like to get this finished for the end of May. Myself and two of my friends are going to the Lion King musical in the West End, so I thought this would be really nice. Bit of sparkle, it's a nighttime showing, nice pair of jeans, nice white top underneath, perfect. So that's my plan for that. I do have 3 balls of this all together. They are 150 gram balls. You get 540 meters or 590 yards per ball. 5% polyester, 95% acrylic. Very squishy, very soft. I have in the past made a little baby cardigan, crocheted a baby cardigan out of a previous ball. I had 4 originally to start with, and that worked up really nice. So I was a little bit apprehensive about these sparkly bits, make sure it wasn't too rough, but it's not. It's soft and it's lovely and squishy. So that's my plan for the Loveland shawl. So those are my 2 upcoming projects that I would like to start within the next couple of weeks, or as soon as I've got a pair of socks or 2 pair of socks off of my needles. Okay, so, and finally, just a few little purchases that I have brought recently. Now, as I say, I am trying to use up my stash, but when I saw these yarns, they are sock yarns, they are brand new colourways, I just could not resist. I just felt I had to have them. They're going to go in my stash. They're not going to get knit up for a while, might not even be this year, because, well, I do have a lot of sock yarn, but I just had to have them because, well, why not? They're just squishy and soft and colours I don't already have. 3 of the balls were for me, 3 were for my husband, so it wasn't all for me. That's my excuse anyway. So here they are. They are the new Stylecraft Head Over Heels Colours of the World Stripe Up Your Life colourway. So there are the first 2. Look at how gorgeous they are. So this one is shade 1161. Not sure what country that is for. Sao Paulo, I think it is. So that's the first one. Then this second one is the Amazon. This one was bought for my husband. This one for me. Then these next 2 are these here, which are just delicious. So this purple one is Guatemala colourway, and this one is Rio Grande. Proper autumn vibes off that one. And then the final 2, which are for my husband, are these here. So this blue one, sorry, this sort of greeny orangey mix one is New Mexico, and this one is Kyoto. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Shade 1164. How squishy and lovely are they? And we just had to have these. I didn't need them, but they were too good to miss, because when new colourways come into the shops, they just get sold out like hotcakes. So I thought, well, let's just grab them now while they're there, put them into stash, forget about them. So those are my recent yarn purchases. And then I have brought recently, I think it was last month, some new stitch markers. These first ones are some rainbow stitch markers, which are just absolutely as cute as anything. So can you see them there? We've got some little rainbow balls, but then underneath we have, let me see if I can, there we go, we have a rainbow coming through 2 clouds. So those are those. We've got 4 of the little rainbow balls and 1 of the actual rainbow in clouds. I did get these from a local seller on eBay, so I will find out their shop name or username and link that below. Then these other 2, there's did come as a set of 2, but I do have 1 on a project. These were from Flo's Crafty Crochet, which I believe are on Etsy. I will link their shop below for you. So there we go, can you see that? It's like a little gumball with little stars in. So those came as a set of 2, all handmade. I just thought, how cute are they? There we go, just absolutely cute and lovely. The seller of this one is Flo's Crafty Crochet. You can find them on Facebook, Etsy, Pinterest and YouTube, and they're also on Ravelry as well, so I will link that store below for you. So those are my recent purchases. We've gone through whips, we've gone through finished items, we've gone through upcoming projects. I think that's it for today, guys. If there's any questions about anything I've spoken about today, if you have a question for me, please leave a comment below, give me a thumbs up if you like this video. If you do like this video and you want to see more, click the subscribe button. My username is Del's Crafty Corner. Just send me a message, drop me a comment, thumbs up, like and a share, massively appreciated. Don't think there's anything else I've got to talk about. Hopefully by the time the next podcast comes around, I'll have something new to show you and some new finished objects. But in the meantime, happy knitting and crochet. Thank you everyone. Bye.